Hey guys, so for this video I will try something new. Unfortunately for my latest stream highlight I wanted to upload, most of the audio got removed because of copyright stuff. So I thought I would just do some commentating here on the plays that I make, which can also be interesting so that the video is not so boring to watch. So this is a green-yellow deck. Usually right now it's better to go monocolored if you can, but the draft didn't allow me to do so. And my opponent here opens with a Triton Diver in the middle, which is a very good opener for Pandora. Especially if you can't deal with him, because he can set up to double collect. Normally what you want to do is try to build your fighting creatures on the side where he goes with the Triton Diver. So I set up my Bone Collector on one side, expect him to go for the left side, and hope I can draw a creature that can challenge it. In this situation, so my next turn, I think I draw Oak Father. Yes, and now I have the chance. I could play the Oak Father with a forest next to my orb, but this means if he wants to collect, he can still jump between the two wells, and I won't be able to catch his frog. However, and it also leaves me with a very defensive forest, and Pandora right now is all about playing a bit more aggressive, because you get shards more frequently, and so Pandora awakens sooner, and that means wells aren't so important anymore. However, you want to have the aggressive land in order to pressure your opponent. So it's very important to advance with your land placement and not play too defensive. And yeah, here I'm considering whether I should drop the Oak Father here, show him what awaits his 2/2 creature, but in the end I decide to double prairie, just wait. And this way, if he wants to collect from the bottom well, my Oak Father will also be able to catch his frog and not give him a chance to retreat. So like expected, here he goes to collect. It's nice that I have a Bone Collector here. Maybe I should say something to the starting hand. So having harvesting creatures isn't everything in Pandora. You also want some kind of early threat that can start fighting earlier, especially if your opponent is some rush stuff. You need to have a defense and a creature that can contest this. So if I play something like mono red or so, I'm happy if I get the Cobalt Warbist, I think it's called, or similar stuff. So here you see me make the land, trade, and then make another land, and then go for the wood elemental. So this sets me up with a very good land placement for later. Unfortunately, the Triton Colliver collected a lot, and my opponent is at very high Faeria. And I think it's next turn where he will really make some power play. Yeah. Even with the forest elemental, he can set up another land to summon a creature. And I think he will get some Beastmaster value out of it as well. Yeah. Oh no, he's buffing it, right. So I don't have a buff myself to one-shot his forest elemental. And actually this is already a very game deciding fight here. I need desert, of course, and I hope I will draw my last nightmare maybe, or in worst case wind soldiers, just to have more remover. The biggest thing I'm afraid of here is that, of course, he has also stuff like Frogify or Humbling Vision. I was considering making the land on the bottom, like bottom right of the Oak Father, just to block him. But yeah, I just gamble here that he has no remover, buff my creature and wait, I think. Also it's important here that I move my Bone Collector in because I will need him in the future. Not sure if I do it this turn. Maybe I wait one turn for it until I play the Piper. Not so sure. And of course I set up the Oblivion Knight just to have more damage. Yeah, so I moved the Bone Collector in. Lots of combat going on this side, and he's in a rather safe spot where I can maybe get some value out of his effect. So my 6/14 creature is where I'm pretty much all in, that he has no hard removal. I felt like sometimes when you're in such a tricky spot you just have to take the risk. If I attacked in, he could have cleared my creature, so I didn't even hit in. If I wanted to play around hard removal I could have made the hit. And here the bad thing is I have 6 and 1 damage, so I can't even take out the 8 health creature. So, and even place a Grizzly, which is quite annoying. And I don't have much. Like I have 0 Faeria, I have the weaker board. The only thing that's slightly better for me is the land placement. Wardon Force is a pretty nice draw, but of course I can't do more than just play the Wardon Force, so I decide to draw. And I think I found a better play. The Taunt is here very nice. Just to lock my opponent down. And now you see where I move my Tiki Piper. I don't want his Grizzly to step down and get an aggressive land. So it's not only important that you get your own aggressive lands, it's of course also very important that you deny your opponent the aggressive lands. And the good thing also is if I set up all these small creatures and I can safely put my Bone Collector behind and he will benefit from that. He also has this 1/1 on the top right side, which is collecting. Now I want to make the trade in, because my board almost looks strong enough to finish it, like his stuff. So his Grizzly can only attack my Forest Elemental, that's clear. I have that brings his Grizzly to 6 health. Then I have the 2 attackers for 1, which brings the Grizzly to 4 health, and my Bone Collector would be a 3/5, so that's not even enough. He's deciding to draw, I think. Drawing is sometimes risky, especially if you have the, like, going back to the land placement stuff here. Once you have the aggressive lands, you actually want to draw a lot so that Pandora opens earlier, because then harvesting no longer becomes important. Like there are 2 ways you can play this. If you want to go for the harvesting game, you actually never want to draw, because you have defensive lands or build lands to the side. And here Pandora opens on my turn, which is pretty unfortunate, but the Chalice means that I should be able to clear some of the board. Of course I will trade in with the Oak Father. First I see what I draw. Always make sure you get the right sequencing. Tetra is not playable, but one of the best pickups I could have gotten here from the Bloom Sprite. And yeah, like I said, I need 1 extra damage to take out this Grizzly. So that's why I trade in my other creatures first and then go for the Chalice buff. Actually deciding here to draw again. Do I? Don't quite remember. Maybe I go for lands. But he has no more creature when I take out the Grizzly that can step up. Yeah, so let's see what I do here. Do I actually draw? Not sure what could help me. I should have gone for a desert, because here I get the Soul Eater, which could come down one turn earlier if I drew. So yeah, I got at least one buff on my Bone Collector, which is nice. And then just go for the trades. His 7-2 can take out my 9-7, which is a bit annoying. Of course I move in the Tiki Piper because wells no longer produce and there's nothing going on the right side. So yeah, in like the land placement in this point of the game only comes down to who has a land, who can get the land next to the opponent's orb where he can attack the turn after you play a creature, which is very important. You can force races. And another Oak Father, which is very annoying. I've only one Last Nightmare in the deck. Hard time to deal with these big creatures, and you get some pretty decent trades in. I think I'm going to end up with a pretty nice bait play here. Yeah. So Word on Force is 6/6. If it gets 5 buff, it's exactly enough to take out his Oak Father. So I actually can't even develop more deserts, which is annoying. And I have to go for the defensive forest here. Hope he steps in. He can't really do much. I think he has to go for like just pressuring with the 7-12 against my 7-7. And yeah, playing around Tetra is not something you can really do in Pandora. It's just too unlikely that it can happen. And Seedsaw is a pretty cost inefficient creature for him. Treasure, Yakorn. I drafted the Yakorn just because I have 2 Soul Eaters in the deck and it's pretty nice synergy. So yeah, here I built a desert on the right side so he can't advance with his land. And then yeah, drop the Tetra on my aggressive spot. It's in proximity for his Seedsaw to trade and maybe buff, but I don't think he had buffs earlier, so he had to top deck them. Wasn't sure if I should move up with my 2-2, so I think it was better actually to move up with the 2-2. Of course he could kill it for free with the 4-6, but in case of a buff I want my 2-2 closer to maybe finish it off or get some extra hits in. So yeah, like when you look at the board it was a bad play to step in the trading range of his 4-6, but the advantages I take play around a bad case scenario that could happen otherwise. And here is lots of 1/1s on the board, which is decent to clear with the Yak attack. I was a bit afraid that he could have Dark Crystal, which would definitely be great for him, but yeah, can get the Yaks out to clear the board, or most of the board, and also set them up to trade in just to further buff my Soul Eater. Then Apex, another scary creature if you don't have Hard Remover. Good thing is that my creature was low health here already, so I can take it down by fighting, and then I draw the Spirit of Rebirth, which turned out to be pretty valuable. Don't even quite remember how I move my creatures here. I think I'm trying to take out the Apex with the small guys. So I should drop a Death Wish Ghoul. And here is important, you see, most people are afraid of wasting like their land just to upgrade a desert. I mean, just to upgrade a neutral into a desert. But it's very important that you go for the land that's closer to the orb. Like the one behind doesn't really do much, my creature is just further away. I can deny him this land, but it's more important that I have an aggressive land. And of course playing the Spirit of Rebirth in a defensive situation with so many creatures on board, the Spirit of Rebirth is a ton of value. And he actually has to choose here how he wants to trade this. If he wants to go for the Word on Force kill, or just pick up all the small creatures. I have 3 Wind Soldiers in the deck, which was also something I considered. So Crystal Dragon is a bit annoying, and like here you see he's getting his lands out on the right side because I didn't block, but I wanted a more aggressive land. But if I can clear his 10-10, I don't even think I can this turn, but yeah, that's why I also probably, yeah, I want to draw because I don't have a great answer to kill his 10-10 and I can't block it. I can only body block it with my 12-5. So late game scaling is really nice for me with Soul Eaters and Spirit of Rebirth. But the early game was pretty rough. He actually chooses to take out my Oak Father. And yeah, set up for a pretty decent Wind Soldier trade. Something for drafting in general. Usually in this fast Pandora meta, you want to look for monocolored decks because you get more consistency, and it allows you to play more prairies than just setting up your requirements for 2 colors. Like most of the time, it's enough to go mountain and just play red. Like often I start prairie. Then again prairie and then set up 2 mountains. Or go prairie mountain. That's also something if I have the harvester, if I don't have a neutral one. So his I think that's his last treasure, and it's Wish, the magpie. So I don't know what he got from it, which is always scary. I have enough stuff to clear the board. Just want to make sure I do it in the right order to get more out of my buff. It's interesting here. I wasn't quite sure where to play the Caretaker. There was a reason why I should have probably played him on the other spot than I did. Let's see, I don't quite remember where I played him, but we will see in a second. Fortunately I can't play the Lord of Waste before I play Tiki. It would only cost 2, but I have to play others. So yeah, I played it aggressive. And yeah, I think in case he got the Magda's Rose from the Magpie, I should have played it defensive. Just so I have the 1 attack damage that can, in combination with a Wind Soldier top deck, take out the Word on Force. So let's say if he had a Magda's Rose here and steals my 12-4, I should have probably played the Tiki defensive. Like, not much I can do with the 1-1 for attacking. Yeah. And I was planning on maybe sacrificing it anyway. Also my 12-4 could protect the 1-1 Tiki from these big creatures. So yeah, I even got the Wind Soldier, so I would have been able to deal with the Magda's Rose. Next turn should be interesting. What did I do here? I feel like I draw. Oh no, I can play Lord of Waste and Soul Eater. So that's probably going to happen. And my Soul Eater is pretty big, so I play him in a spot where I can go face in case I still have the last Nightmare in my deck. I really tried to search for it. Probably should have drawn first, of course, if I end up to draw anyway. So now I'm deciding where do I want to play him. I don't want to play it in his proximity, so he can choose for trades. Maybe this is not so an immediate threat here, where he drops it. The obvious play for him would be to make this, to move the 6/6 up to block, and the 3/3 to trade with the Lord of Waste. Praying here to the RNG gods, he has no Frogify, Ambon Evolution or Humbling Vision. Wave Crush Colossus comes down, and yeah, I'm just searching for a last Nightmare. Top deck, GG, well played. That's how I got number 1 Pandora first time. So I hope this was somewhat enjoyable.